Hey everybody, in this video we'll walk through creating a first Android application. So first, open up Eclipse. Here I have a fresh install of Eclipse with the Android development tools installed. I'm going to click File, New, and select Android Application Project. This is going to walk us through a wizard approach to creating our application. So I'll enter Demo 1 as the application name. Notice that in the application name there's a space. It removes the space from the project name. Demo 1, the application name, is what will be displayed on the Android device. The project name is what is saved as the directory and in the file settings. Next is the package name, and this is really synonymous with the Java package, just a way to organize our code. And the one unique constraint about Android applications is that the package name must be unique across applications installed on the Android device. That's why we use the reverse DNS approach. We assume that the common name for our organization or company's website is going to be unique. Next is some SDK settings. The minimum required SDK and target SDK. This is the minimum SDK that users will need to download the app, and the target SDK is the SDK that we're saying we've tested most with. And the compile with SDK, that's usually the latest stable release of the SDK that we have installed on our computer, and that's what will be used to actually build the app. Okay, if we click next, we're going to step through this app creation wizard, and there's some settings now for the basic project. One is to create a custom launcher icon. If we have this checked, basically it's going to take us through another dialog window that will allow us to upload our custom launcher icon. I'll uncheck that for this example. Next is we want the wizard to generate an initial activity for our project. Usually we'll leave that. And then the directory where we're going to save our project to. And by default it selects the location for the workspace that you selected when you opened up the Eclipse environment the first time. And you can just leave that as a default, or you can select a unique location for all of your Android projects based on a certain theme or company or project that you're working on. Okay, next is some create activity options. So just think about like Microsoft Word. You can create an advertisement or a letter. Same thing here, we can create an app that starts off using a specific template. We're going to just create a blank activity for this example. I'll click next. Now it's going to give us some options for our initial activity, and notice the activity name, this is a standard naming scheme that we use. So the activity name itself is going to be the name of the Java file, which is kind of like the code behind for our screen. And then we flip that and we have the layout name, which is the XML file that describes the visual layout of all the objects on our screen. So two things really, when you think of a screen on an Android app, there's always going to be two things. One is the Java file for the activity, and the other one is the layout file, and these are the two files that will be created. We'll take a look at them in a second. So go ahead and click Finish, and now the Android SDK is going to generate our empty project, basically with a single activity. And it's going to open up the initial activities layout, so you can see under the Resources folder, Layout, we have an XML layout file called activity_main.xml, and it opens it up in a graphical user interface. So you can see that initially we have, very appropriately, a very simple layout displaying the words hello world, and there's a lot of options that we can visually add objects to our layout. So I can left click on a button and drag it onto the layout. This is a very easy way to modify our layout visually. If you click in the editor window on activity_main.xml, you can see the raw XML behind the layout, and you can see for this example there's a simple text view which is displaying the hello world string, and we'll see where that string is coming from in a second. And then you can see the button that we just dragged onto the layout. So let's now go ahead and look at under resource, again, resources, values, the file strings.xml. So here we can see hello world. This is the actual string that's displayed. This is the string resource value that we're using to display that string. So this is a common thing in application, is to manage strings in a centralized location. It makes it easy if we want to create an app or allow our app to be used in different languages, or if we have a string that's used pervasively throughout our app, we can just change it in one place then and know that it updates it across the app. Let's also look under the source folder. You can see the package that we specified in our dialog there. And main activity is the .java file, and you can see there's just a very basic class which inherits from or extends the class activity, and just a couple of very simple methods. OnCreate is one of the first ones we'll take a look at in a following video, and it calls something called setContentView, which is looking into the resources directory and the layout directory within the resources directory, and it's looking at it's finding the layout called activity_main, and it's displaying what's in activity_main. It's going to expand out the XML and display it. So this is our basic Android project, and you should be able to build it. If you initially can't, you might want to try clean, and that should rebuild your project there, and you should have no problems. And watch for any information. Let me know if you find anything under the console as you build your first project. Okay, in the following video we'll take a look at how to manage the Android virtual devices on our machine and test this out. Thanks.